it's Guido coming at you with a Shermination event. Shermination. See what I did there? The Sherman. There are a lot of Shermans in this game, my friends. A lot of different variants of the Sherman. This happens to be the M4A3 76W. What is it? It was the Battle Pass tank from 2 or 3 Battle Passes ago last year. There were some Tier 6s that you could get at the end of that Battle Pass. This is one of them. I remember when I first started playing this game, back in the old days. Sit around, kids, and let's talk about the olden days. Also, let's mess around with all my little setup here. Alright. Oh, what's going on? Help me. Alright. Minimap's big. Stop complaining. Shermans. I remember when I started playing 13 odd years ago, whatever it was. Sherman was one of the original tanks. You would obviously include that in your base game if you had a World War II tank game or a tank game that covered World War II largely. And I remember getting the Sherman at Tier 6, I think it was, might have been Tier 5 at the time, I don't remember, for the base model, and just being very underwhelmed by the Sherman. It's kind of the corollary to automatically going up the Tiger line when you're new, expecting the Tiger to be an absolute beast. It's the American corollary to that. Going up the Sherman line and expecting it to be this just great World War II tank. It had no armor. It seemed to have no armor compared to other tanks. It wasn't super maneuverable or fast. It was just decently fast. It had a little pew 75, 76 millimeter gun. Does 115 or some dumb thing. 115. Didn't really seem to have a whole lot of penetration. Even upgraded to the upgraded bit. I just remember when I started playing the game thinking, I hate this thing. It's terrible. I don't like these Shermans. They're not tanky. Of course, a lot of that is just sort of misunderstanding the way the game works, how it's played. I was brand new, didn't really understand much about it. And I think even more than that, the game was still developing at that time. Like, I don't think anyone really knew how to play the game or how to maximize, how to min-max the game, all that good stuff. Because the Sherman actually has quite a bit going for it. And I've done really well in it over the years. Most of my Shermans are around the 60, if not above the 60% win rate. You know, these are all Tier 6 tanks, so don't get me wrong. Yes, it's a brag. It's kind of a humble brag, noted. But it's not. I'm not telling you that I'm 3-marking Tier 10s, all right? Let's not get crazy here. But I have done well with the Sherman. So what is the Sherman bringing you? Well, kind of what I thought were the weaknesses are some of its strengths. The pew gun can lock people down with the tracking. 115 is a low alpha, but because it shoots so much, it's actually got a pretty decent DPM. Kind of letting this guy have it a bit right here. Very similar tanks, though, in terms of DPG, alpha, and shooting. Looking to track this guy. Got this other dude here. I'll hit him. Boom. Nope, no track. That's all right. Come on, reload. Boom. Fix your driver, Guido. Thank you. Gun depression. Tons of gun depression. Able to use lots of terrain. I talked about the mobility not being great. Well, it's not zippy, but it is mobile enough to get around. I don't want to sit here and get thumped by this. There we go. Looks like he was out of shells, so, or just didn't want to get hit by both of us, so he backed off. As I've been talking about the Sherman and what I felt about it, and starting off in World of Tanks, we've kind of racked up 1,723 points of damage on a bunch of shots. We've got 1 kill so far. Pretty much owned to the south down here. Now this is a good setup. Once again, into the explain the humble brag thing. Yes, it's a Tier 6 battle with 5s. Alright? I'm probably going to have a good chance to do well in matches like this. Get thumped by the 304 who got away from me. Sort of chasing him now. I am angry! Gonna find the ARL right here. There's the gun depression going on. Shoot. Probably should have gone for his track a little more right there. He turns on me. The turret is okay. The Sherman is kind of this jack of all trades, master of none tank in this game. And honestly, that's what it was in reality. You know what I'm saying? It was kind of that tank that was pretty good at a lot of different things, but not absolutely amazing at any one thing. And maybe that makes it amazing at being a useful tank. because it does have so many of these things that it can do. Nice. We in HE. Oh, you gotta like the HE. Take that. Oh, to artillery down. I think my HE lets me down right here, though. It's not a very big gun, fellas. Your HE is not... fellas are flying by. Thanks, guys. Appreciate the flyby. 185 damage. That's better than 115, but it's only 38 penetration. And I think... Oh, I don't know what that shot was. No. All right, let's see if we can penetrate this guy with our mighty HE. No, we can only get 55. Then the leopard takes him out. Oh no! Whoa! Come on now! Oh, son of a kill stealer! Somebody stole my kill. So I would have been much better off if you look at that. What did I get? 84. Well, there's a bunch of tracking damage from the T-67. Assist, I guess, is what you're looking at there. So I've got a 1,184 assist, 2,443 damage. I believe there might be a little bit more involved right there. A Romple Stomp, right? Like I said, a Shermination event. But I just kind of wanted to chat about the Sherman at Tier 6. Don't sleep on the Sherman at Tier 6. It's actually a really versatile, good medium tank. And primarily because it can kind of do a bit of everything. Doesn't have great armor. Turret's okay at tier sometimes. But in terms of being able to get around the map, use all the positions with the -10 gun depression, it's decent mobility. It's very agile in terms of its hull. In fact, a little too agile. I don't know if you've ever noticed this while driving the Sherman in the game, but because its hull traverse is so fast and its wheelbase is so relatively short, I can often get into a bit of a PIO where it's hard to control. So you do have to be careful, especially if you're trying to maneuver around things. Maybe you're near an edge of a cliff or something. It's easy to overcorrect. It will tumble. I have rolled it on occasion on side hills and things like that, so you do have to be careful with that. So while it's not immediately, blazing fast down the road, it will get up and go, and it will turn and fight. It's hard to circle a Sherman. You're probably not going to circle one based on its turret traverse and its hull traverse. So just kind of a great all-arounder at Tier 6. And I think at Tier 6, that's very useful. The game, it's nice to have tanks that are overpowered in certain places, whether it's armor or a huge gun or whatever, because you can take advantage of those in the right situation. But it's also good to have the all-rounders that are decent at being all-rounders like the Sherman is, because you never know which map you're going to get. So at least you can kind of find something to do on all the maps. And one of the things I really like about it that I did mention earlier about the Sherman is because it reloads so fast, locking people down by tracking them is one of this thing's strengths. And if you find yourself in a bottom tier battle with tier 8s, look to do that kind of thing. I even actually set this up with a second setup for a vision. It's just optics, so it's not like I'm going to challenge anything with a CVS. But if I am bottom tier, I'll pick that one, especially on a more open map. I'll have a little bit more view range. I'm not challenging tier 8 lights in any way, shape, or form, but a little bit more view range to help out around the edges. Be very careful. Look for tracking shots. Look for being able to circle or get in behind people. And this little thing will actually shine. It's been very interesting over the years as I have come to know a little bit more about the game, to appreciate that the Sherman in the game is actually pretty good. And there's a bazillion variants of this thing as well. So you've got them all the way from... I don't remember, does the new prototype variant start at tier 4? I know there's some definitely tier 5 versions. There's tier 6 versions. There's a tier 8 version, which has been well overshadowed. That's the sort of French one with the big gun on it. What is that called? Can't remember what that thing's called. Haven't seen one of those in a long time, to be honest. Revelry, something. So there you go. A Shermination event. Had a nice game. This ends up being the first mastery I've had in this thing. 3 kills, 2,443 damage. There might be a blind shot or two in there. 1,184 assist. About 29 shots. So when you have a low alpha, it takes a lot of shots to get these high damage games right there. And obviously, it was pretty much just shooting fish in a barrel because this team was struggling the whole time, as you can see. But it really does show off this thing's strengths. Yeah, you come face to face with a BZ-176, even a KV-2, sometimes you're out of the game immediately. That happens. That's all I've got. You guys have a great one. See ya.